Hi guys, and welcome back to another video game with powers. I'm Jake, and in today's video we are bringing you another episode from our Learn and Play series. If this is your first time watching a video from our Learn and Play series, essentially what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to show you or give you a brief overview of how the game is played. So we're going to learn the game together, and then we are going to play the game together. I will just be showing a couple sample turns of the game. I will not be doing a full playthrough. So today's Learn and Play game we have is called Perch. All right, Perch is coming to you from Inside Up Games, the same people that brought you Earth and Terminus, I think, was another game that you did. And this is all about this is an area control style game using birds that you can stack on top of each other. So a really unique theme. This is for 2 to 5 players, ages 14 plus, and right around 45 to 60 minutes per playthrough. All right, guys, let's go ahead and jump down to the table and learn and play Perch together. All right, guys, so we're down here at the table where we would have everything set up for a playthrough of Perch. Now, before I dive into this overview of the game, guys, I do want to note that this is the Kickstarter edition of the game. So some components and things that you see here might not come in your edition of the game you get if you pick this one up in retail. So let's talk about the overall objective of the game. Your overall objective in Perch is to be the person with the most victory points at the end of the game. And you can see our victory point track is right over here around this fountain board, which is what we call. So there's a couple different ways that you can score victory points, and the main way that you're going to score victory points here is through area control of these different tiles, okay? So you see I got 8 tiles set up over here in a formation. Depending on your player count, you will have more. So this is the tile setup for a 2 to 3 player game. I think you'll have 2 more for a 4-player game and 13 total for a 5-player game. Don't quote me on that exactly, but the more players, the more tiles that you're going to have set up. And you'll notice that on these particular tiles, I'll just grab one of these here, that there are going to be number values right here in the top right-hand corner. So this is going to denote the player that has the most birds in their color on this tile will receive 5. The second most will receive 3. And the third most really will receive 1. What's also interesting here is some of these tiles also have different effects on them during different phases of the game where they are going to activate. Also on top of that, some of these tiles will have nests, which will count as 1 extra bird on that tile. So that is the primary way that you're going to score points at the end of every round. There's 5 total rounds in the game. At the conclusion of every round, you guys will score your victory points for each round. So there's going to be 5 different scoring rounds for you throughout the course of this game. That is going to be the number 1 primary way that you're going to score victory points. The second way you're going to score victory points is with this fountain board. So there'll be opportunities maybe with certain tiles here, like this one says if 4 more birds, send all birds to the plaza. So the plaza is this bottom area right here, and your birds will score you 1 victory point for each bird that you have in the plaza at the end of the game. You also might encounter some effects that send birds to the fountain here. So this is the bottom row of the fountain, and then the next couple rows, and then at the end of the game you'll see there are victory point values for each bird that you have in the corresponding level of the fountain. So that is the second primary way that you guys are going to be able to score victory points as well. The final way you'll score victory points in this game is through objective cards. So there is a whole deck of objective cards that are going to have different things for you to accomplish. So for example, hidden in disguise, ensure at least 1 location has no birds of any flock. If you complete this at the end of the game, you will get 6 victory points. So when the game starts, you will be dealt 2 of these. You will select 1, and that will be your objective for the game. And so that is the last way that you're going to be able to score victory points. All right, guys, so now that you know what you are trying to do throughout this game, you're trying to score these victory points, you know the 3 ways that you're able to score victory points, let's talk about how you are actually going to play the game very quickly. So you will choose a player color, and you are going to have a host of little birdies here. This is called the flock that you're going to have. And on your turn, you're going to have this little bag. So your birdies will go, a couple birdies will go in this bag. Let's say for this 2-player game, couple birdies will go in this bag, and then you will take 2 of your own specific birdies, all right? And then you're gonna reach in the bag and you're gonna draw some birdies. So let's see what I draw. So I draw a red and I draw a blue, okay? There is the possibility that you will be drawing your opponent's birds. So that's what makes this game interesting. Not only can you draw yours, but you can draw your opponent's as well. And then what you're gonna be doing is taking turns placing these birds out. So you will go one at a time. So, you know, let's say the blue player places their bird here, and then the other player would go and they put another bird out, and then the blue player is back. And so now I have the option to place my birds everywhere else. So that's going to be the main component of the game here, is you are taking these birds and you are going to be putting them out. And then once everybody places these birds out, then you will go into this upkeep phase, which is essentially going to score you points. Now, you might see some animals down here, a hawk, a dog, and a cat. So there are different tiles. So a country house for cat, dog house for the dog, hawk's nest for the hawk, that the controlling player, so the controlling player is whoever has the most bird or the most birds of their flock on that specific tile, they will gain control of this animal. And so as a bonus action, once either before or after you place your bird, if you control this creature here, you can activate this creature, and these creatures do a bunch of different things. So like, for example, you can see the hawk here. You can move the hawk to any other location than its current one, and then you can send one bird from the location where the hawk stops to the fountain. So as we talked about, you can send these birds to these fountains to score more victory points. So there's a bunch of different creatures in the game. You will play with at least 3 creatures per game. And so each specific creature is going to have their own nest, and they're all going to do different things. So the dog, for example, move the dog to any adjacent location, move one bird, one location in any direction away from the location where the dog stops. If the direction is off the board, send the bird to the fountain. And last but not least, you have the cat. Move the cat to an adjacent location with the most birds. If 2 or more locations adjacent to the cat's position are tied for most birds, the cat controller may choose which tied location to move the cat to. From the location where the cat stops, send one bird to the fountain and move one bird one location in any direction. So, as I mentioned, they have a bunch of different creatures. They got squirrels, they got scarecrows and things like that, and they're all going to do different things. So that's just something else you can do on your turn. And then when you get to round 4 and round 5, you can put bird houses and use these lightning bolts to kind of help stabilize your positions here on these particular tiles. But guys, look, that is pretty much how you are going to play the game. Again, you're going to be drawing birds from a bag and taking 2 of your own birds. You're going to be placing your birds or your opponent's birds out onto these different tiles. You're trying to gain area majority, or maybe sometimes you don't want to have area majority, like with this early bird, right? If you are the 3rd most, you will gain 5 points, where if you are the most, you only gain 3. So there is some strategy to this game. At the conclusion of that, you'll have this upkeep phase where you are going to score the area majority, or you're going to score the points on these specific tiles. Some tiles have different bonuses on them during specific phases. You'll do that as well. And then you guys are just going to play until 5 rounds are up, and the winner at the end of the game is going to be the person that has the most victory points. All right, guys, so like I said, that is a brief overview of the game. Now, there are some little nuances that I did not cover, so definitely check the rule book for how to do that. But I feel like I did a great job of giving you guys a high-level overview of exactly what you're trying to do and how you're going to play this game. All right, guys, I'm going to show you now what a couple turns would look like in a game of Perch, so you guys can get a better feeling of how the game is going to play. All right, guys, so we'll start from the very top in what is called the migration phase. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take 2 birds from your flock. So the blue player will take 2 birds, the red player will take 2 birds, and they will put these 2 birds in the bag here. Now, in a 2-player game, you're gonna need to have a 3rd player, okay? Which is going to be a random color. I think it's the bird brain player is what they call it. For the very first round, you're going to put 4 of these in the bag as well. Again, the color does not have to be black. It can be any other color that you want. So those are the number of birds in the bag. Then what you're gonna do is take 2 of your player color. All right, so 2 blue and then 2 red, and I'll do the red player over here. And then you're going to determine first player. So they do have player order tokens right here for you. So we'll say the blue player is first and the red player is second. And then what you guys are going to do is take this bag, you're going to shuffle it, and you will draw 2 birds. So the blue player is going to grab a black and a red. And then the red player is going to grab let's see what the red player grabs. He grabs 2 black as well. All right, so that is that first phase, our migration phase. We did the recruit phase, which is what I just did now, which is where we're drawing 2 birds from the bag there. The third phase is called the perch phase. So now what you're gonna do in a turn order is you are gonna be placing 1 bird on a tile, and you're gonna do that until you run out of all birds. At this point in time, you have some bonus actions available to you. Again, the number 1 bonus action is if you control a creature, you can activate that creature before or after your turn. You can build a birdhouse if we're around 4, or if we're around 5, you can build a birdhouse or a lightning bolt if none has been built, okay? Last but not least, guys, you might see some nests out on these tiles. Some tiles have nest icons. Those add +1 to your bird count. So like if I put a bird here, that's gonna be really 2 birds for me instead of 1. So let's just go through, and I'm just gonna randomly place these birds out. So I'll put a bird right here, we'll put a bird there, and then this player would go, let's see, he wants a bird here, and then this player is gonna go and we'll put a bird here, and then this player is gonna go, he wants to control the hawk, so we'll put a bird there. Now I have an opponent's, so this is really interesting. I'm gonna put an opponent's here. I'll put an opponent's here, okay? And then they would go, so they're gonna put a black, and they want me to put a black. I'm gonna put a black there. And then last one here, we're gonna go 0 there. And then this person's gonna put another black on top of the lonely elm tree. Okay, so all players have now put all of their particular birds out. So now we would go into the upkeep phase where we are going to score each location. So they go left column all the way to the right column. So 0 points because nobody has any birds there. 0 points, nobody has any birds. We have 2 birds here. Anytime there is a tie, you get 0 points. So nobody would get 0 points. And then that is that score right there. Bird brain player scores 0 points, so nothing there. The red player is the sole controller of this, so they will score 5 points. So red player would get up to 5 points. Nobody's here. We have a tie again. So there's 2 black. This nest counts as 1 blue. So since we are tied, we get 0 points. A tie nets you in 0 points. And then the red player here is going to gain 1 point for controlling the hawk's nest. All right. So now we would determine the new order, the new player order. New player order is going to be determined on who is the leader on the score track. So now the red player is going to be number 1 and the blue player is going to be number 2. And then we would go ahead and activate all locations during upkeep phase. So controlling player becomes the dog controller. This is a tie, so nobody gets the dog. Controlling player gets the cat. The bird brain player cannot take over creatures, so we would not do anything there. If this location has 4 or more birds, send all birds to the plaza. Nope. Last but not least, the controlling player becomes the hawk controller. All right. So the red player is the sole winner of the hawk. So I'll put the hawk over here with him. When that happens, you will take this hawk standee and place them on its starting tile. And now the red player can do the hawk action as a bonus on his next turn. Okay, so that would be the conclusion of 1 full round. So we'd move into round number 2, and then we would start that process all over again. So we would take 2 blue, 2 red. Let me do this, 2 blue, 2 red, and I got 2 red there. And this time we will only take 2 black. So the first round, the bird brain player puts 4 in. The subsequent rounds, he puts 2. So we have all of these in the bag here. All right. Each player is then going to take 2 of their own respective flocks. And we'll pick 2 there. Red gets 1 there. And then now we're going to draw. So the red player draws first. Let's mix this up and let's grab 2. So he gets a red and a black. And then this player over here gets a blue and a black. All right. So now we would go back into that perch phase and we're placing our birds all over again. So again, let's just say, let's put this in random order. So we want to control, this over here. This blue player is going to put his bird there because he wants to try and score these 5 points. Red player is going to go over here and control that. Blue player wants to gain control of the dog, so we're going to put that there. Red player does not want the blue player to gain control of this little elm tree. Okay. And the blue player is like, you know what? I do want to gain control of this little elm tree, so I'm going to put that there. And then last but not least, the bird player is going to go here. Let's see where he goes. Ideally, he probably want to go here just to get some points. Let's put that. And then he's going to activate the hawk. So move the hawk to any other location than the one he's currently on and send 1 bird from the location where the hawk stops to the fountain. So he is going to send this. We're going to go to the elm tree. He will send 1 bird from the blue player to the fountain. All right, so the bird would go right there into the fountain, and that is going to be the conclusion of his turn. Now, this person goes again, and what does he want to do to try and stop them from gaining the hawk? Again, is he's going to put the black bird right there. Okay, perch phase is over. We'd go to the upkeep phase. So 3 points for the red. So 1, 2, 3. All right. 5 points for the red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one, the controlling player is the blue player. So blue player gains 1. The bird player is the second most. So the red actually would get 3. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty. That's that. No points for there. 5 points for the red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over here, 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Controlling player, that is a tie. All right, we got 3 blackbirds and 3 bluebirds. Remember, the nest counts as 1, so nothing there. And then this is a tie, so 0 will happen there. Okay, determining the new turn order, it's going to stay the same because the red player is in the lead. And then we would do any bonuses. So the blue player would now gain control of the dog because he is the controller here. The dog will get set up on the doghouse. All right. Cat, nobody controls the cat. That 4 birds are not there. That's during the migration phase. And then the hawk is going to go back right there to its normal spot. The red player does not maintain control of the hawk. He lost control of the hawk because of that. All right, guys, so that would be the end of round number 2, and then we would move into round number 3. Really quickly, guys, before I end this video, I do want to talk about rounds 4 and 5. So once you move into round 4, on your turn, as a bonus action, you can take one of these birdhouses and place them on your stack of birds. And this will protect your birds, if it has a birdhouse, from any creatures or lightning bolts in round 5. And it additionally counts as 1 extra bird. So this stack right here would be 4 birds instead of 3, okay? Oops, and I forgot that. All right, and then when you move into round number 5, as another bonus action, you could use a lightning bolt to zap a bird anywhere on the map or the tiles, on any tile that does not have a birdhouse, and you would send them to the fountain here. You can zap your own specific birds. And remember, these are bonus actions, so you place your bird, you spend the bonus action to take the birdhouses. Now, again, in a 2-player game, there's only going to be 2 birdhouses available and only 2 zaps available. So most of the likely, each on that first turn, you're going to put a birdhouse out, or you're going to zap in that particular thing. But that is how round 4 and 5 works. At the end of the game, what's going to happen at the end of round 5, you go through the upkeep phase and then end game scoring. 10 points for the largest flock, 3 points per creature controlled, points for the fountain, and points for the plaza. And again, the winner, guys, is going to be the person with the most victory points. Alrighty, guys. Well, look, thank you so much for learning and playing the board game Perch with me. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. If you did, smash that like button, hit the notification bell, comment down in the comments below. Did you guys back Perch? Have you played it yet? Have you tried it? Or what do you think about it? You think this is a fun little area control game that you can add to your collection? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, guys, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe so we can keep bringing you some more awesome content. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye.